What up? What up? What up? What up?
What up? What up? What up? What up?
Camera holding it down solo over there on the Dub S channel.
Solo.
I see you.
The camera's a real one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Camera be holding it down.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
camera
yeah.
still riding around with on a scooter with a messed up leg?
No, he has what are those things? He has a boot, but I was trying to think of that fucking
He
that
has
thing
bone
where they
spurs?
walk around and the leg is just posted on the and then they can stroll. You ever seen that shit like a skateboard? But they're
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's got
About the
like
guy's bunions.
Alvaro
What's up?
elsewhere. No filter. P. What's up, P? I told you I'm changing your
Owen's up
name.
in there too.
What's up,
Takis is up
Spanx?
in there. Spanx is in there.
Takis whopping.
They're holding it down, man. Mike
Mike DC22.
holding it down. What's happening, gentlemen? Saludos. Are you having a good and blessed one thus far? Yes, sir. Sugar free.
Damn, Mike. Hey, thank you. Gary kicks it off.
Look at my boy Gary kicking it off,
Hey,
man,
what
from my
about
boy
Mike?
Doug.
Mike, that's a late lunch, huh? More stories on Dakota. Ezekiel, are you the one that knows who it is? Somebody in here knows exactly who I'm talking about because they put their initials. I don't say the name of the guy.
Like the new setup, gun. You see the difference in the whole office? I changed everything up. Everything is it's well put together. No, I'll just say that. I advanced to the next level on this shit as far as the room goes. Laquifa, alopecia. What's up? It was good. Let me see. Let's get a few more people in here. We got 45. Ezekiel is not him.
Okay. Yeah, there's somebody in here that they yes, Banks. They're gonna
Yeah.
charge you with it. That's all it is right now.
So I got some information, man. So after they did their little closed door meeting yesterday, they are going to be charging Manny with the death penalty for the two murders. Doesn't mean he's going to get the death penalty, but it's on the table, and it's on the table in a real way. And that's mostly just to spook him, I think, into a conviction and a what. But death penalty is on the table.
You mean spook him into a deal?
Yeah, spook him into a deal, which is an LWAP.
I mean, I don't think anybody was surprised. A double homicide on the strip.
Yeah.
There you go.
Smiley.
Oh, well, you know what? Hold on. And we got
food game.
Ben Johnson, question. Are y'all live on all channels? Because I only got notified for Dub S World. No, I'm only live on Dub S World and Gun.
I'm only live on the collective clips. So we went on our smallest channels today. And I'd like to hold it down, man, and start doing lives on this channel only. Just
we'll figure it out.
Rebuild it out. But we'll figure it out, everything out, man.
Thank you. We're talking behind the scenes. There's, finally, we're both doing okay on views today on our channel. So we didn't want to interfere with those. That's why we came to the other channels. And yeah, we were shocked today. There was some stuff, some analytics from YouTube today that hopefully get ironed out.
Had motherfuckers reaching out to YouTube. Put it like that.
We definitely, us, not just us, but other content creators had to get
content creators
had to get at YouTube because things were very different.
Let me see. Even if he got the death penalty, would it run fast? No, that's not the way it works. No, that's not the way. He'd have to exhaust all his appeals. He would automatically have an automatic appeal coming, and
yeah, but but it doesn't matter. It's just like California; they will not be executing him.
Yeah, they're not going to execute him. He'll just do life there, but it's still he'll be on death row, which is segregated from general population.
It's I'm someone that's against the death penalty, and I've talked about it a bunch of times. I think that the death penalty, because it's not actually used, it costs taxpayers a lot of money to house the people as lifers. That's all they're gonna do. They're gonna pass. It's like in California, they do one like every 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the taxpayers have to pay for the prosecution as well as the defense most of the time. Then we have to pay because in a death penalty case, there's a bunch of mandatory appeals. We have to pay for all that too.
Mm-hmm.
So why even have the death penalty if it's just eating up money?
A lot of experts, because in a death penalty case, they have to be very meticulous, I believe it's up to the jury to sentence him, not the judge. Yes, it is. What they'll do is they'll find him guilty.
No. To sentence is the judge.
No, but what I'm saying is
Finding of guilt.
they'll find him
No, I'm
guilty
reading
by
his
the jury.
question. No, his statement says, I believe it was up to the jury to sentence him. No, the jury will convict him, either find him guilty or not guilty. And then
the judge will impose
if he's found guilty, then the judge will give the sentence.
So that's what it's called. So, like Dub said, the jury will find him guilty or innocent. The judge will impose sentence. So what the judge will do is he will review the whole case. He or she, whoever it is, will review the whole case, the findings from the jury. They want to make sure that the jury had, there was nothing influencing the jury. It was all correct. Then the judge would take into account whatever they're said at the sentencing. Well, I mean, whatever said at the sentencing hearing, he'll take into account. But more than likely, he's going to give him the fucking death if. But he could at the last minute feel, it's up to the judge for sentencing. He could feel some type of way and be like, nah.
No, big dog.
Oh.
No, there's two phases on death penalty.
Yeah, the first one
is a finding of guilt by the jury, and then it's life without or death penalty by the jury.
By the jury?
Mm-hmm.
And then the judge imposes the sentence, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's up,
Either way, look, the guy's going to never get out again. Unless some things change or, I mean, Dubs was just talking about earlier how dudes with LWAPs have gotten out.
Is that, hey, wait, is that the real a low ball? Is that really you, or is that somebody else fucking now running with that shit? He's the one that I did a video based on his fucking ass.
Did you?
Well, not him on his comment.
What's up, man? Shout out to Chicago, Adam Harris, Moises. What's up with you, bro?
Shout out to Chi-Town. What's cracking?
Oh yeah, elsewhere, yeah. Ricky put the whoopings on him, bro. That shit was crazy. Ricky put the super whoopings on him. That dude was like, I don't want no corn dog. I don't want no corn dog. It was crazy. How about my tia Dubs invited me over to her pad to make mole? She was like, come over, mijo, we're making mole. I said, all right. She said, just bring the chocolate, the chicken, the chile, and some tortillas. I said, well,
yeah.
Well, fuck it. Come to my house and eat the mole then. Since I'm buying all of it.
Just go get it from the restaurant then.
Yeah. Are you going to at least provide the gas for the stove, or do I have to pay for that too?
Yeah. What's up, C-Web? How you doing?
One hung glows to
12,000. And that's another thing with the death penalty, at least here in California. And I would think it's the same in Nevada, right? So yeah, I'm gonna be gaming later. Not only does it just cost a grip of fucking one hung glow says 12,000 views. Yeah. Thank you. But why you take your comment down though? You took your comment down. I saw that. But so when people get condemned, right? And they so in California, they shut down condemned row. Like they're everywhere in the population now because they're not gonna execute them. But when they did have condemned row, when they did have death row here, when you're a regular inmate or convict and you're sent to a yard, right? You're gonna be, especially like on a 180 yard. You go to a level 4 180 yard, maximum security. You're going to be on A2B status, or what we call A2 bum status, meaning you don't have a job assignment or school assignment, nothing. All you do is sit in your cell and go to yard. That's it. You're going to be on that for years. And when you're on A2B status, you don't get to spend the full canteen draw.
No.
You don't get well, now everybody has tablets. But we'll just say this. So when you get sent to death row, everybody's A1A.
Yeah.
Everybody gets full canteen draws because you can't. There's nowhere to go when they had death row. Now they're everywhere else. But you have dudes that were on regular yards that couldn't get a job for 3 fucking years, and Avato gets sentenced to death, and that motherfucker's going fucking 220 to store, eating fat, and he's in a cell by himself, just being a pig.
TV, they get a TV, all that. Yeah. They used to get
the phones. The phones would come on a cart, on a little thing on wheels, and they all this stuff. Now everybody has tablets, so everybody can get on the phone. So that part's out. But
they said besides being segregated, there was a lot of dudes
I believe
that were enjoying it.
I believe Tookie was the last one
to be executed, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't remember another one since then.
me see.
Is that right, bipolar? Where's that at? I want to see that.
We got tablets out here too. Since
Okay.
AZ Kirk.
Arizona, then Nevada probably has. You know what? Those places. That's probably Global Tel. Global Tel's they want those everywhere. There's certain states where they don't even get contact visits. It's
Global
video visit.
telecommunications. Yeah, the screens.
It's video. Yeah, and that's why these dudes. You know, when these couple incidents they had over here in the visit room, that shit can wind up happening.
I know
That's
they do it. They do that
bad.
a lot in county jails. Dubs the telecommunications, like through
In
the.
Texas is like that too.
That's a trip. I seen one. Look, trip out on this, guys. I seen a short yesterday. I was thinking about doing a video on it, but I got to look more into the details. But I might as well say it. There was a guy. He's on the phone with his old lady. Did you see it, Dubs? He's chopping it up with her, and they just start booking him.
Yeah,
right there. They waited till he got on the phone with his old lady. They did it right in front of her. She was flipping out, and man, that was crazy.
Yeah, with Global Talent, yeah.
Prosecutors were expected to announce the death committee's decision on August 4th. I'm sure they still will. But we'll give you inside info for that info inside.
Yeah, I mean, and then I believe I looked it up, and I think his next court hearing is on the 8th. Hey, shout out to Fresno. What's up, big dog?
Shout out to Fresno, your boy, the one and only. What's happening with you, bro? Shout out to everyone that's in here, man. We appreciate all the support. Again, man, it's been a rough month on YouTube for everybody, not just us. Collectively, all YouTubers, especially in our genre or the genres that surround us, have been having a bad month. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but man, we respect the opportunity to have the platform on YouTube. And we're going to continue to grow and continue to do what we have to do to overcome any barriers in our way. That's just what we do. You know what I learned a long time ago? The harder you work, the more you got coming. So we're just going to work hard. Fuck it.
I'm not going to say your name, but fool, I'm going to call you P. I already told you that. I said your name a few times, and I was like, hey, what am I saying that damn name for? Say my name right.
Yeah, you know what his name is backwards? No tip.
No tip. No tip.
That's cool. Piton got no tip. Sim Manny should have kept going to Mexico. I'm not sure why.
He said that's not my name. No.
Nowadays, bro, going to Mexico don't mean shit. They'll extradite your ass right back. You see that they sent that chick to go look for old boy. He went to Mexico and he didn't last. Going to Mexico, man, when the world is looking for you, it's not a good thing to do. You got to go to one of these non-extradition states or countries, excuse me.
Well, you know what? Yeah, there's that, but also bipolar chipmunk. I don't know if you've ever lived on the run, homie. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Being on the run is horrible. You don't. I was on the run, and I was only on the run from camp. You know, I escaped from camp. I was fighting at the time. It was an attempted murder. I wound up getting found guilty of assault with a deadly weapon with great bodily injury. When everything was said and done. But when I was on the run, when I escaped, it was an attempted murder, right? And homie, I used to go, and this was in 1989. This is when everybody still had landlines, right? And I would go into a house and I would tell them, hey, nobody can be on the phone. And I would get the phone and I would take it off the hook and put it to where I could see it. I don't want nobody on the phone anywhere. I don't want somebody calling like, hey, this dude, that dude, he's right here. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody on the phone. I would go places everywhere I went. I was fucking ready to. Yeah, it sucked, Holmes, being on the run. Nobody wanted you around. I was a kid. Nobody wanted me around. All the homies' moms were like, he can't come over here. Everywhere he goes, the fucking cops are looking for him.
Hey, One Hung Low, you ain't lying about that. That's a fact. You got to have money to be on the run, man. You'll start exhausting all your friendships, everything, and eventually the people that are closest to you are going to tell on you because either you're becoming a burden or they just don't want that hot-ass fucking environment around them. You know, I had a homeboy that I've known since we were kids. One of my first cellies in juvenile hall was my boy. There was a house, the homegirls, we used to party over there. That's where everybody went. We could sleep. You know, one of those fucking crash pads, right? Next door was him and his family's house. So we'd respect it, but we'd have our juntas at his house all the time because it was like cops didn't even fuck with him in his backyard, pool, juntas is all good. And I was on the run, front page of the newspaper. They were trying to catch me. That's when I ended up going to Juarez and I came back. So I was running around and I went to the homegirl's house. Within 5 minutes, cops everywhere. I was able to wiggle that time, right? But I knew it had to be somebody. The homegirls were right there in front of me. I knew it wasn't them. They were gangsters. They didn't give a fuck, right? They'll go get locked up with you. Come to find out later on in the paperwork, it was the homeboys that he was in that called And it was because I was bringing too much heat around, and he was doing his little thing on the side, and he didn't want the heat, so he just get him out the way. Fuck him. And I grew up with that dude, man. Like, damn, bro, you did me just like that. I never approached him, never brought it up to him, never nothing, because I just never, whatever, right? But I always knew in the back of my mind, like, this is cop calling ass motherfucker. Try to cutthroat me and get rid of me because he didn't want to get caught with a little 16th of dope.
Yeah,
crazy.
Ezekiel Dubs, did the DA constantly bring up your attempted in your trial? So no, I got actually found guilty. Like I said, assault with a deadly weapon with great bodily injury. But no, they're not allowed to do that. Because that's inflammatory. The only way they could bring up my my past crimes was if I took the stand. I never took the stand in my trial. But yeah, being on the run sucks. So imagine being on the run for a hot one. You know, it's even worse. If you can get to Cuba, there's no extradition with Cuba.
Fuck, how are you gonna get to Cuba? Swim or what?
No, you can get a boat to Cuba from Mexico. You just can't get it from here. Hey, just a technical question. Do y'all each run the lives on your own channels independently at the same time? Yes. When we're on StreamYard, yeah. So that's why, like, we always try to keep it like when you know, if anybody wants to donate specifically to Gun, make sure you're on his channel and vice versa.
Yeah. Should Sin City take the stand?
No.
I don't know how to benefit him.
No.
Yeah.
What would he do up there that's going to help him?
Yeah.
It would be one thing if only he got on the stand and only his attorney could question him. That's not the way the rules are. As soon as you get up on that stand, the DA's on you.
It's open season. Here's the thing, Dubs. This right here is a case he should not take to trial. If they offer any type of deal, I don't give a fuck what it is, run that, right? Because this gentleman right here is guilty of sin. It doesn't matter. The district attorney already said in the interview, laughed at the notion of innocence by fucking because he felt that it was self-defense. He laughed at it already. He was like, ain't no fucking self-defense, period. Not even close. So we already know there ain't that. If they want, if the DA just wants to get that notch in his belt, get that win without the taxpayers having to pay a lot of money and sensationalizing it, he'll offer a deal. Maybe he doesn't want that. Maybe he wants to become the governor or whatever, and he wants to make a big old deal out of it.
Mm-hmm.
This is an open and shut case, like as open and shut as it gets.
Yeah, in my opinion, the deal he's going to be offered and he's going to be forced to take is going to be life without.
I believe so. Or I could even see like 2 50-year to life sentences, like you said, some astronomical. You know what I mean? Where it's just, but probably life without.
So here, even if like when you were asking about what if they're consecutive, instead of running them concurrent, they run them bow-legged consecutive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the laws over there, but I know how it is in California. Is if you have 2 separate life sentences, right? Say you go to prison with a life sentence, and then you catch a second life sentence in prison, right? And you go to board and you get found suitable on the first life sentence, the other life sentence is therefore irrelevant. That's the way it works. They can't be like, okay, well, we find you suitable for this one, but we don't know yet if you're suitable for that one. What do you mean? That's the same person. Thank you,
so much.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, bro. Every time Dub says I do it. Yeah. That's how he said it. Hey, looks a little bow-legged to me, Al. IWAP is even money on Jack. All right, dude is a loose cannon, though. Who are you talking about, the district attorney or Manny? Doesn't matter. Even if Manny is a loose cannon and wants to take it to the box and get all crazy, man, his lawyer will advise him. Ultimately, it is up to him. It's his life. But, lawyers can be pretty influential. They could influence a lot.
Bull breeder, did you hear Kamala is not running for California governor? Well, I mean, there was no point in her running. Her own party didn't even want to answer the question. I don't know if you guys saw it. I've been seeing it on TikTok. They were asking Democrat Party members about her possibly wanting to run, and they didn't want to answer the question. If you look at Kamala Harris's track record, like her whole entire career, she was put up there against Trump like as like I don't know. I don't know what they had to have had somebody else that was better.
She was thrown
And
to the wolves.
well, no, they wanted the woman vote, and the things that they
Black
try to
vote.
the things that they say are, well,
Mhm.
she's not black.
Well, the
Um,
minority vote, though. They tried to say
they
she
yeah
was.
they wanted them, but
Mhm.
the things that they were saying about Trump, they wanted to have a woman there to have all the women be like, no, but that's not how people are going to vote. And the
Mhm.
thing is, when you again, if we just go back, not even politics, all politics to the side, when you look at her job, every position she's had, her job, she was complete shit at it.
Mm.
So this state right now is in so much trouble with Gavin Newsom. I mean, they're looking into that billion, all the money on that high speed rail. It's being
Mhm.
investigated now. Where's that fucking money been going? There's a lot of stuff that's being looked into right now. We don't need somebody else that doesn't know how to run, take care of money. Period.
And she couldn't even her campaign. What was it? Over $1 billion spent in
She
less
raised
than
she
a
raised
couple
over a
months.
billion in 4 months,
4 months. Yeah,
and with millions in debt after. Right,
20 million in
and
debt. Mhm.
here's the thing. I don't know if you guys saw this. Hey, what's up, high power? I don't know if you guys saw this.
So, bro.
Um, Trump put out a tweet. I don't know what they call them now because it's not Twitter, but I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
And he said, paying for an endorsement in a political campaign. Damn, I can't even talk. Paying for an endorsement is illegal. You can't do that. And Beyonce was paid millions, didn't sing a song. She was paid to go up on the stage and endorse
Yeah.
Kamala.
Thank you,
And you
Gary.
had all those other artists. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. And so this is something that's being looked into. That as well, Ezekiel, the Palisades fire. It's weird the way it happened, the way it was allowed to burn. It's Wes. For sure, y'all put out a lot that I enjoy. Got to make up for YouTube. Thank you. I was trying to hit Gunner too, but I'm boomering out and can't tell where his stream is. I'll
Yeah,
get
I'm
you
on the
later.
collective clips. I'm not on Gunner's Collective today. I'm on collective clips. Over a billion, then 20 million in debt. How's that happen? Exactly. Look at what Ezekiel says, and this is the truth. What about the Palisades fire victims have gotten no money from a benefit concert, but Newsom's wife's nonprofit got 50 million.
And that's something that's being looked into more and more lately. Is a lot of people have this misconception that that a nonprofit means you don't make money. That's
Thank you,
false.
man.
That's
Boy.
false. You're allowed a salary, and if you start a nonprofit, you can make your salary whatever you want. And there's a lot of these NGOs, and that guy, I don't remember what his fucking name is, man. That evil dude, that old man. He was pouring millions and millions and millions into a lot of NGOs that nobody knows who's really running them. So for Gavin Newsom or anybody, I'm not going to just stick to one name, but
Sue
for
gang. Thank you,
people,
Gary.
oh, that's what he was saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's Soros.
Soros, George
Thank you,
Soros.
guys. Thank
Yeah.
you, George Soros. That is
Mhm.
a very, very devious individual. Wherever there can be anarchy stirred up, believe that he's going to pour money into it. Um,
Yeah, George Soros. Hey, what was that one documentary? It was you that sent it to me, right? Was it George Soros that there was, man? Was it him?
Maybe it
No,
might.
it
It
was
was
it
probably
was the
Lupe.
one that Jesse on Fire did. I think it was Jesse on Fire did it, or someone else
Uh-huh.
did it. It was all about George Soros and how he's instrumental in a lot of this shit. Like anything fucking anti, he puts money into it. Learned about that shit in the early days. He funds anti-gun organizations. Yeah, that dude's like super duper liberal. Alex Soros is his son.
I
He
don't know
banging
that he's
Anthony,
liberal. I don't know that he's liberal.
but it just seems like he pushes those types of agendas because it's evil. You know what I mean? The
He, he,
evilness of it, not the
he,
party, the evilness of it.
I think I'm just me personally, my personal opinion. I believe he's more into anarchy than liberalism. I think
That's
he's
what
in
that video was
anarchy.
about. It was about how he started that movement, that anarchy type shit.
Yeah. Damn, Pixel.
One never knows, does one? I'm just fuck with you. Nah, man, you can't disrespect the man that's facing death penalty after he's gone. Let me see. Exactly. He doesn't have an ideology, wants to burn it all. He'll use whatever. I agree. That's what
And
it is.
that's the thing where the people that supposedly run all these governments, these the secret society stuff, they have no allegiance to any nation. They have an allegiance to power and money. That's it. That's all.
To
So
that secret that
if
sits
if
behind
if
him.
they felt it would benefit them to have this country get run to the dirt, it's going to get run to the dirt. And that's what we need to pay attention to. And we need to start. That's why I say, I don't give a fuck. Look, I'm conservative. Doesn't mean that I agree with everything that a conservative has to say. No way.
Mhm.
There's no one that's going to agree 100% with anybody, right? But if there's a great idea, I don't care if it comes from the left or the right. If there's a great idea to make things better for us, then let's employ that, right? Let's get that thing in motion and let's see what it does. But we can't be just blinded and so blinded and hateful that if it comes from the right, no, or if it comes from the left, no way. Nah, we can't do that.
Yeah.
That's what
Hey,
they
what's up,
want.
Monica?
Whoever the fuck they are, they always use that term they.
There
But
is
that's
there is a
what they
they though.
want.
There's a certain amount of they that are running everything, the whole world. Hey, Gum, why'd they end up closing YA? Well, if you've ever been to the youth authority, like Dubs has, myself, um, it was it was not set out to correct your behavior. There was a lot of shit that went on behind the scenes, man. It was a very abusive place, mentally, physically, all kinds of different things happened, and it just was not helping. And
I
there was a
think
lot of liberal people in the state of California that banded together, and a lot of other different states. Well, for the California youth authorities that banded together, and they wanted to shut it down because of what they felt. There's
well,
excuse me because it was happening. Go ahead, Dubs.
I think an easy way to say it is um YA was the breeding ground to fill up the CDC.
Yeah, it was like step
They,
one.
they, there was they it's AAA, and then you step into the majors, which is the CDC.
There was no
There
rehabilitation.
were dudes. Gunner can tell you. Anybody that's been to YA will tell you things happened in the California Youth Authority that were so brutal, so ugly. You would never see it happen in the CDC. I'm talking about dudes like in the California Department of Corrections. You don't see dudes taking other dudes' manhood. We can't use the actual word, so I'm going to say it that way. In the
Mhm.
California Youth Authority, dudes would beat somebody up every day until they turn them into a punk, and it would happen. Some dudes, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with them, but they didn't have enough heart to keep fighting, or at least fucking create a weapon, make a weapon, and bust this dude's head open, and they would turn into punks. And you got to remember, these are kids, and the staff knew about it.
They were well aware. They're aware of everything that goes on. They don't give a fuck. They didn't care.
A lot of the staff in the California Youth Authority were sadistic, evil,
Yeah.
and
Gang members too. There was some that were involved in gangs still. I
and
remember we
you
had
had
two dudes from '60s on our unit that were counselors.
and you had I mean, when back in the days, they used to say, "Oh, especially in the joint, oh, that Vato came. That Vato still has a YA mentality." Or Vatos would get out on the streets. That Vato has a YA mentality. The YA mentality was, "I'm the baddest motherfucker on earth until you prove otherwise." And
Yeah.
that's why so many dudes would parole from YA, and within 6 months, they were either dead or they were
Or in
fighting a
prison
life sentence. I
all the
lasted
time.
5 months, and I was fighting the death penalty 5 months after I got out.
It was facts. You got out with the mentality. If you were able to make it through all that, make it through everything you've seen, witnessed, the fights, the fighting, like out here was like a gladiator wars. You wouldn't even understand the amount of fighting, how it became normal, like breathing air. It was nothing. When someone's like, "Hey," they didn't you didn't have to give them a reason to fight you or to hate you. If they just said, "Hey, homie, let's get this," you didn't say why. You didn't quit. You just said, "Let's go," and your homeboy too, and that one after that one too. Like the whole ramfla, let's go. That because you had to be like hard as stone. You had to be fucking. You basically had to become like they say in prison. It breeds animalistic behavior. They're animals. That's how it was in YA. It was just like motherfuckers were turning into like beasts, to animals. They didn't give a fuck anymore. Everything, nothing was off limits. We can kill each other. That's
Mhm.
how it was, and that was just like Dub says. It became a breeding ground for the next people to go to prison, and people got together, realized. A lot of people, parents. There's actually someone who comes on our channel. she's a San Mateo City Council member, and she's been fighting the good fight for a long time and a lot of different things. She's very liberal, but she's good people. She comes on, she knows our political views, and we chop it up. Good people. But the reason why she got involved, and she was very instrumental in getting the youth authority shut down, one of the key proponents to it, was because her daughter was in the youth authority and went through some shit there. And so that had an impact on her daughter's life, on her life. She got into it, and ultimately her goal, she as a parent, after what her kid went through, she made it a point. We're gonna get all this shit shut down, and it did.
Yeah, and so me personally, I don't think the YAs should have been shut down. I think they should have been completely overhauled. I could see shutting them down for like certain ones down, right? And moving the inmates, they call them wards, moving the wards to different places. But me personally, I believe YA should still be around, but it should not be a place of punishment. I believe they should have done it a whole different way. Have the counselors actually be certified counselors, because they had wide C's, youth counselors, and GS's, group security. The GS is dressed the same as COs, right? But I think it could have been like, for an example, you had YTS, brutal place, but they had you could go there, you could learn how to become a barber, a baker, a cook, a butcher. Like, it was a trade school. That's what YTS stood for, youth trade school, right? And I think if YA would have been something where you commit a crime and then you can actually learn from it, it would have stopped people from going to prison. And what you had was, prison is so fucking profitable that they were taking our children. Like, I can say that now, right? If I had kids, like my daughter now is in her 30s, but they were taking people's children and making them complete fucking monsters or victims. People were getting killed in YA. You know, people were killing themselves in YA. It was fucking, it was more brutal than prison.
You know, I just realized something. What you saying, what you said. Now that I think about it, they did always put school at the end of every YA. Remember?
They had no
school for boys, Preston School of Industry, like you said, trade schools. It was always school.
It had to, because we're juveniles. It was part of the thing in California where they, and just like there was no warden, it was a superintendent. Schools have superintendents, so it wasn't a warden, it was a superintendent.
Yeah, it was always
the reason for that was because when you went to, if you got out and you went to like a college or something and they needed your transcripts, it came from a school.
Came from school, yeah. Because when I graduated, it was Stockton's Unified School District, but it had nothing to do with no unified school. But like the schooling in Hawaii was, the teachers would say, just don't fucking make me have to call the cops in here about the fights. If you guys are gonna fight, do it outside of my class. They already knew what time it was. It was just different. I can't remember anything that I learned in YA. I don't even remember them teaching us. Just remember them sitting down and reading while we fought. They must have replaced YA with something, haven't they? They don't. They keep you in the juvenile hall until you're an adult, or they charge you as an adult. That's it. It's worse.
That's why I don't agree with shutting down YA. Imagine going to juvenile. But see, now they have all these different rules. Where like, that's why now certain neighborhoods are utilizing kids that are 12 years old, 13 years old to commit crimes, because they can't be. It created a whole different problem. That's the thing, is there's always a reaction for whatever action is taken.
Yeah. Well, that's just like a perfect example is the Valentine's Day murder in San Jose that happened, where the Southsiders allegedly dressed all in red and went out there and killed this guy for wearing red, which was what they did. The killer, I think, was 12, 13 years old, the one who actually did the stabbing. And the most he faces is 9 months locked up for that murder. You know what I mean? That right there is the eye opener, man, for these. I know if I was still an active gang member, I was older, I'd be like, shh, the little homie here, hold that. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, you know.
But even that little homie, right, goes and does 9 months. You think he's not going to kill again?
100% he is.
He's a killer.
Yeah,
now, people could say like, oh, well, how you guys say that? You both did time for murders. Yeah, we went through hell and a lot of time to figure out who the problem was. But when you have a kid that's still a teenager, still hasn't figured out who he is yet, and there's a lot of people there's people in their fucking 30s and 40s that still don't know who they are. And that's why they have addictions or different problems in their lives. You know what I mean? But when you got a kid that took somebody's life, does 9 months for it, there's no lesson learned there.
I'll tell you right now, they would have given myself or even Dubs 9 months in the youth authority just to get out. It would have been, we'd have probably did fucking 10 life sentences because the mentality that we had there just in that 9 months, that credit, that first 9 months when you're maxing out, you max out usually by the first 6 months.
Yeah.
If you're putting in work. If you ever see someone that got out of YA from the 90s that says, oh, they gave me 7 years, but I only did 2, he was sucking chorra, more than likely. Because I'm telling you guys right now.
Unless he only had 2 years confinement time.
And they put him in like a fire camp or something.
Had a bunch of fucking time. Look, I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I had a Sally, my homeboy from my neighborhood. I don't like the motherfucker now, but he did 18 months in Paso. I had already got kicked out of Paso, sent to TS. Right? I used to tell him, man. I used to tell him, you were a leva, fool. I don't care. The YA stuff doesn't follow you to the joint. But I used to be on his ass in the county. I used to be like, fool, I know you were a leva, fool. There's no fucking way you did a year and a half. But anyways, let me see. Bull Breeder says, you think stadiums should have you sign a waiver due to them putting your privacy on kiss cam? No. You are not afforded any kind of privacy in public. That's why you see all these auditors. They film stuff in public. If you are out in public,
I'll be right back.
There's no expectation of privacy. That's the Fourth Amendment. If you're in your home, there's an expectation. If you're in a bathroom at your job, if you're in a dressing room in a store, those places, there's an expectation of privacy. Nobody should be able to see what you're doing, right? But even if you're in your home and the blinds are open and I can see it from the sidewalk, that's close your blinds. Nah, ain't nobody. Don't somebody's gonna say Dubs is a peeping Tom because I said that. Let the trolls watch his motherfucker. But that's the law. That guy, but I know what you're talking about. That guy, that fucking billionaire, and he was smacking his HR. I mean, they're dumb. Like, why would you? And then the way they reacted, like he should have just been like, oh, she was cold. I was just keeping her warm. Right? Try that. I don't know, but the way they reacted on that shit was crazy.
Let me see.
Might have to refresh. Mine froze up for a second.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Boom, boom.
What's the youngest age to be charged as an adult in California? I don't know, but I remember homies. I remember 2 dudes in YA. One was from 18, and the other one was from Hawaiian Gardens, and they went to YA when they were like 10 years old. But at that age, they would all go to OH closed.
Yeah, that's why I thought I was going to OH closed, because I was actually 12 when I got to YA. Got convicted at 11. At 12, I went to YA. I thought, oh, for sure, 100%, 1,000,000% OH closed, which I was cool with that. Guess what? We're sending Northerners to Nellis. Nellis was another one that was young age. OH was like the youngest, but Nellis was right after that.
That was the order.
Up. Yeah.
It went the order of age groups in YA. It was OH closed, and then it was Nellis, and then it was Paso, and then you had all the adult ones.
And then Preston,
18 and up.
Preston used to have to be 18 and up, but Preston went down to 16 like Paso.
In 92 it did.
Yeah, in 92. So that's why I ended up going.
But that's Preston because from Nellis. That's when Chad opened. When Chad opened, they made Preston a juvenile.
Yeah. Let me tell you right now, Preston is like the San Quentin of YA. Whereas we consider like TS like the Chino, right? I would say high desert, more like Pelican Bay or high desert, right? But there, because it was so close to Chino prison, we used to be like, that's little Chino right there, YTS. They're getting their quite this from Chino called, right? Motherfuckers were spooked to go to TS, man. I ain't gonna lie. TS was like damn near going to prison. No, Chad was going to a madhouse. Yeah, Chad was like going to a madhouse. It was all locked down all the time. Motherfuckers just fighting for every breath of fresh air. But TS, they were like functioning like a prison over there.
Yeah,
YA is small. You hear about everything, you know.
And in TS, those cells, they were like the size of San Quentin cells, tiny motherfuckers. But no, in YTS, they're running that trade line every motherfucking day. You get into it. If you you get into it with your enemigo, both barrios are slammed down for 3 days. Day 4, go on and get it again. That's how they did it.
Yeah, Preston though, like I said, it was had an air about it being one of the oldest youth authorities, and the way it was shaped, reminded you just of a prison, man. You'd walk all the way to your trades, you'd go all the way to the to all your appointments in there, the clinic or wherever you'd go to the gym or to chow, and everyone walked in movements. It was just different from what I was used to in Nellis. And Nellis was kind of shaped just like Basel, a little bit, few differences. But when I got to Preston, I was like, oh, this is YA right here, boy. This right here, you can get killed in this motherfucker, even worse. You can get killed in any one of them, but that one made you feel more like you're getting older now. There's a lot of history there.
Did I ever do time with Bulldogs? Absolutely. I was in Wasco Reception Center with Bulldogs, of course. That was their reception center in Santa Barbara, Ventura County, LA County. We were all there. And then New Folsom Beef Facility with the Bulldogs, and beef facility in Pelican Bay. And the Bulldogs were in New Folsom and Pelican Bay until 1998, and then that's when they all went to Salinas Valley. Let's see. Do I remember Jim TD? Absolutely. Jim TD was torture. You wouldn't be able to do that. You would not be able to do that in the CDC. Not just because dudes will whack the shit out of the cops once it's over, but it's against the law. But see, when as convicts in the CDC, you're taught to learn the law, and myself, I got three certificates in paralegal law, paralegal studies. I mean, right? In YA, they'll probably think you're a pussy if you start trying to learn the law. Like, fool, get off. Fuck you talking about? Grievance. Fuck's a grievance.
I was the grievance clerk, and I never ever remember turning in one grievance. We just ripped them up. In fact, the cops picked the grievance clerk that they wanted, the one that they knew they could trust to rip the shit up. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like, oh, I should have been turning, because if you do, you're snitching, basically. That's how. So either way, it was like, to be the grievance clerk was a come up, because you won from the cops and you won from the homies, because you got all the fuck. You can get the good cell, the good food, the good everything. You didn't have to work. You could do whatever the fuck you wanted. And then the cops were like, they wanted someone in that position that would rip it up, because, man,
in YTS,
they violated the law more than we did every day.
When I was in YA, the grievance clerk over there was a homie from Sereno, and that his job basically was to just pass dope and everything else, because he could go. So like in YTS, you have a unit, right? Like Y and Z. That's where I was at, Y and Z, right? But they're all like that: A and B, C and D, E and F, G and H, I and J. Anyways, there was 2 different wings. So you had 2 wings on Y side, 2 wings on Z side. That was one building.
Mm-hmm.
It was a trip. It was actually like a 180. You had the
chow
hall.
It was more like a prison.
Mm-hmm. You had a prison. You had a chow hall in between the units, just like in a 180 yard.
Yeah, it's a trip. That was, and that's why we said that's the reasoning for them shutting YA down. It was basically the minor leagues, like Dub says, to prison. It was the next step. There's, what, we had this guy come one time, and we were on a 73-man dorm in what do you call it, Carl Holton. And he was like supposed to be some expert or whatever. He was an analytical dude. And he said, I want everyone to look to your left, look to your right. Look at all these people in here, right? There's 73 of you. Here's the statistics. 70 of you, what do you say? 71 of you guys will go to prison. 1 of you guys will make it. And the other 2 are going to be dead within the next year. Who are you?
Where did you get those stats from?
That was his stats were 70 people were going to go to prison. Or no, but 70 people will go to prison, 2 will die, and 1 will make it. Only 1 of you guys are going to make it into society and be good. Which one are you? I was like, fuck, I'm going to prison.
What a great pep talk. And
yeah,
when you're dealing with dudes that are idiots, you were like, I'm going to the joint. I already know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I looked at, I ain't going to die. I'm going to prison.
I talked about when Lefty Gunplay did that video. And he was asked by Vlad TV, hey, did guys look forward to going to prison when they were kids? And he was like, fuck no, nobody. Yeah. I've told the story of being in Paso Robles, and Pelican Bay was brand new. This was 1990. And we're hearing about Pelican Bay, and we were literally saying, I'll see you there. And I always finished that story with, I didn't see none of those other motherfuckers there. I was the only dummy that went through with it.
Hey, D Money said, sign me up. Gun said, yeah, it was because I knew. Hey, but that's the mentality of why I could have been like, oh, I'm the one that's going to make it, right? I already knew I wasn't going to make it. I was like, shit, I'm going to prison. It became a point where, like Dub says, everyone in there was like, all right, bro, I'll catch you on the rebound. I'll see you in there. And you know what? Yeah. I'll tell you this. I ran into about 20 motherfuckers I was in YA with in the system. And it wasn't like, like when Chito Ranas got out that video of him getting out, man, I can't believe I made it out here, right? When he's all big, that was when he was skinny before he got fat and skinny, right? It was like running into them. It was just like we didn't miss a beat. Like we're just in a different place now. I was like, damn, what's up, bro? How long you been down? Oh, I've been down 15. Damn, it's been that long? Yeah, I'm just doing 7, bro. It's cool or whatever. You know what I mean? It was like nothing. All right, bro. If you need anything, I got you. It was just the mentality. It was like, wow, once you've been locked up and it's all like part of a class, like they have the class ring, the class of 93 or the class of 92. It was like the class of whatever in YA because there was different eras of YA. And the 90s was like the class of the 90s, which was a bad class to be in because almost everybody's either dead or did a life term or a lot of years. That class was a fucked up class.
See, Webb, I held on this one. I'm way far behind in the comments. It says, dude, that story of YA where the guard dumped that kid upside down in ice water. What the fuck? I mean, whew, been planning that? Nah, that dude was a psychopath. He didn't plan that. I mean, he probably had done that before. Just that cop was a fucking nut. And he had a road dog. His road dog and him, they used to be on the same unit together and actually got separated. They were banned from ever working together in the same unit. They were fucking psychopaths.
Journey says video. What's good, Gunner and Dubs? I seen your last video and I'm on the Vegas sector. And some of them people are done there. I told Gunner and Dubs our truths. I stand with you guys. Much love and respect, Puro Gente. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. I was told, man, you're getting involved in our business. I said, man, since when did a double murder just become your business? That's the type of business you want?
Are you guys hearing feedback? I don't know.
I am hearing a light feedback.
I think it's yours.
It might be.
Yeah, there's something on your end that's getting too close to the microphone.
Yeah, it might be my speaker right here. Let me go ahead and move that. So crazy, dude. Is it true the YA staff would set up fights?
They didn't have to. They could, but they didn't have to.
We set them up ourselves. They just allowed them to happen.
I was telling Gunner, when I was in Paso, the cops would so normally every night, the same program, every day, every night, it was the same program. They're gonna run, there's 2 cops, they're gonna run day room and yard. That was the program. The cop that had the day room, he would go over and he would unlock the latrine and stay away from it because that's where it all went down. Vatos are playing cards. There's a disagreement over a card game. Boom, let's go. Boom, go on the latrine, get busy. Boom. Disagreement on the handball court. Disagreement on the basketball court. Straight to the latrine. And the cops knew it. And they stayed out of the way so that they don't see it. Everybody handle your business.
Put some towels in there to clean the blood up.
There was towels in the day room, always in the day room in the bookshelves. There was no books. There was just towels. And that was to wipe the floor down so it's not wet, nobody's slipping. And then if there's blood, clean it up, get rid of the towels. We had a senior. I don't want to say his name. Every dorm has the regular cops assigned, the YCs, and then they have their boss in there who is a senior, and then you had the PA, the parole agent. He has his own office, right? He's only there in the daytime. The senior's there whenever the fuck he wants, right? The senior runs the shit, and for the cops, right? And that unit. Yeah. The one on my unit used to have this thing where he would, after chow, everybody out to the fucking yard. And every unit had their own little yard, right? And everybody fucking go out there and everybody would fucking squat down all the way around the yard, right? And he would say, whoever has an issue, handle it. And then you could just call a motherfucker in front of the whole dorm and everybody, and one-on-one, boom, 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 chunking them. That's how it was. When I was in their version of the SHU in Paso, it wasn't SHU, it wasn't SHU. It was IWP. It was called the Incorrigible Wards Program. Over there, you had an issue with somebody and you couldn't get to him. You just tell the senior, hey, man, look, me and homeboy, we ain't seen eye to eye. And he was asked, does he feel the same way? You tell him, ask him. He'll go and tell that vato, hey, do you and so-and-so have an issue? Yeah, okay. He'll pull him out, pull you out. You guys go in the day room, and he'll put in a mop bucket, mop up the blood when you're done. Why it was different.
Way different. They didn't allow the cops' number one thing. Don't make me do a fucking write-up, man. That was their thing. I don't want to do no fucking write-up. You know what I mean? Handle your business. I don't want to write it up. 25-year-olds, it was to 24, wasn't it? Dubs?
It was 24. Your 25th birthday. Yeah. So this is what they would do. And it was usually dudes that had life sentences. You caught a life sentences a life sentence, excuse me, before you were 18. So you were an M number. Those guys, if you weren't an M number, if you had a regular YA number but had a juvenile life term, and the parole board hadn't found you suitable yet, what happens is when you're 24, about a week or two before your birthday, they'll transfer you to your county jail. You go before a judge, and the judge either bounds you over to state prison or releases you from court. But you were 24-year-olds. Yeah, there were 24-year-olds.
Shit, there was 24-year-olds fucking in Nellis. Shit.
There were 24-year-olds fighting 15-year-olds. Imagine that.
Yes. I fought fucking 21, 22, 23, 24, all that like it was regular at 13, 14 years old, and it wasn't no child abuse or nothing. It was just fucking, they were the enemy, and that was just the way it fucking was. And that's just how it was. Cops didn't give a fuck. There wasn't in the write-up, they'll put fucking 2 dudes fought. They didn't put your age. It was crazy. And no one looked at him like, I was beating up little kids. It just wasn't that. It just was what it was.
But I personally saw where, like, say a dude was like 23, 24 years old, and he called out a vato that was 15 or 16. If the 15 or 16-year-old stood up for himself, somebody else would be like, hey, homie, I'll take that for him, man.
Like a 20-year-old, 21-year-old.
They wanted to see that this vato was willing to get down.
Yeah.
So I got this for you, Holmes. And then you go and them two will get down like, hey, Holmes, don't be trying to punk this vato. But there were other times where, hey, Holmes, if you went into a dorm, you didn't have no homeboys and a bunch of enemies, boy, you're going to have it rough in there.
Which way was Rocky more, Chad or Nellis? Chad was. Nellis was a lot of gang banging. It was young kids, so it wasn't as serious. It was Chad, they started stabbing the dog shit at you.
But it's completely different.
Yeah, it was different eras, different age.
Chad was adults. Nellis, there's some adults. Chad, you had to be 18 and up. And Chad is kind of like a 180 yard. You had
reminded me of High Desert. When they built it, it was brand new. Everybody was fighting.
The thing was, all the worst dudes from YTS and Preston got sent to Chad. That's how they opened it. And so that's why when it first opened, I don't know if you were in YA yet. When it first opened, I believe the first night the first day they opened the doors, there was a murder.
There was a murder, yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it was over there. They sent the worst of the worst that were 18 and up from the worst institutions to open that place up.
Yes, that's why Chad, they called it Mad Chad, the White Elephant. It got so many nicknames because it was, like Dub said, the worst of the worst. That's what they used to do to Preston too. The worst of the worst. If the Southsiders were fucking up down south, they'd send them to Preston. Like, oh, you want to gangbang down here and fight a lot? We'll send your ass to Preston. And that was a northern stronghold at that time, right? And it was all the worst of the worst Northerners. So unfortunately for the Southsiders, they could never accumulate numbers because they'd get, as soon as they got off the bus, the staff was telling all the Northerners like, hey, there's a busload coming from LA. There's how many of them? There's 7 of them. Okay, everyone get their knives and packs ready. And they were just massacring shit, man. The Southsiders, they did get a foothold into it and start getting deeper because, I mean, they have so many numbers. There was no other place to send them. Eventually, you had to spread them out everywhere. But also when the Bulldogs and Northerners and Bulldogs started focusing on each other more, Southsiders came and got a foothold, and they were like, fuck it, we're on too. So it was like a 3-way battle, just boom, boom, in Preston.
There was also a huge discrepancy as far as up until 1992, if you were from Southern California, you went to every fucking YA. They sent you everywhere because there's so many dudes, right? The Northerners didn't go down south ever until May of 1992. So before that, they only had 5 institutions they would go to, and they were all in Northern California. So imagine the numbers that they had. It's similar to when you go to the joint. It was like the way you see the Southerners and Northerners on most of the prison yards, that was the reverse when you went to the Northern YAs. You know, that the Northerners were so fucking deep there, and they would not let Southerners get off the bus and set up fucking nothing. You know,
there was when I was there in Preston, there was about 300-400 Northerners there in Preston, maybe like 30-40 dogs, and probably 150 or 100 Southsiders. So the numbers were like 2 to 1, you know, and with the Bulldogs like 10 to 1. It was crazy. And you know how it is, Dubs, when motherfuckers got their stronghold, they're going to try to hold it down. They're trying to, and the thing was, they were sending dudes from NRCC and busloads of Northerners coming in all the time, every week. Southsiders would come all the way from LA or the 805 area, maybe once every 2 weeks. So it was hard for them to really establish, man. Not that they weren't some riders of savages. There were some motherfuckers who was putting it down, but they just didn't have the numbers to sustain for a long time, man. That's how it was with us when we went to Nellis. It was every day motherfuckers getting off. They were trying to get us out of there. The cops weren't letting us get out of there, though. Believe me, we wanted to go. I wanted to go the first night. Get me the fuck up out of here, right? 3 years later. You know what I mean? It took 3 years to get the fuck up out of there. So I went to
Yeah.
Preston. By
Yeah.
that
No.
time, I wanted to stay. That was my home.
In Paso, I've told this story a bunch of times. I remember in Paso, the homies were like, "Hey, Holmes, they bring any of those bottles from up north, they bring them in the dorms. We're gonna sneak some guns in and just shoot these motherfuckers."
Mm-hmm. Gunner, was it you that told the story about the guys trying to escape from YA? Yeah, in Nellis, man. They said we were in the school area and they were like, everybody down. And we were tripping because we never experienced that. Like everybody everywhere was down. Cops were walking around. And what happened was these 3 dudes got on this roof. They were rebuilding this gym. The whole time I was there for 3 years, we never went into the gym. They were always rebuilding it. I got hit with a 2x4 from that motherfucker. They just never finished it, right? But that gym, the way Nellis was, those that know Fred C. Nellis, it's right in the middle of a fucking neighborhood, not like a gang neighborhood, but a neighborhood. And a neighborhood was built around residential neighborhood, right? So the back fence with the barbed wire butted up against people's wood fences. So literally, if you can make it over that barbed wire, you were in someone's back fence. These fucking idiots thought that they could jump from the fucking roof because the roof was high over and clear the fucking the razor wire. They didn't make it. None of them.
Let me tell you something.
One of them really didn't make it.
You know I don't know if they had this in Nellis, but in Paso, they had a foghorn for count. And when count was clear, it blew, I think, 3 times. If there was an escape, I think I don't remember what the number was, but Paso was more rural. And we had been told, I don't know if the staff were just trying to scare us, right? But we were told that there was Klan in the area. Like, yeah, if you try to escape, you're going to wind up. So there was that, right? But so I got kicked out of Paso in 92. Right after they brought the Northerners, me and a few dudes that were just fuck ups. We got into some bunch of shit and they sent us to YTS. Some dudes went to Chad, but they booted us, right? Well, a month or 2 after that, they called it an institutional riot, right? But they had one of the compas, they kicked down. So you guys know, I don't know if Nellis is the same, but in Paso, once everybody goes down to the dorm, they have a riot gate. They close this huge gate, boom, and they padlock it. That's called a riot gate. You can't get out of you can't get out of there now. Everybody's caged in. So if a riot kicks off, you got nowhere to go. You're in that area stuck. Well, they kicked the door. They busted a door down. They busted a fence down, and 7 dudes escaped. That was in 92 in Paso.
They got out, huh? They were gone.
They all got caught,
Of course, but they made it out, though.
But they fucked off all. Instead of everybody going at it with each other, they decided, hey, we're out of here. And it was a bunch of racists. They kicked the door down, got through to. I was already in TS. I was like, damn, you mean I could have stuck around and maybe got out?
That was one of the only times in YA that I seen any type of unity or coming together of the minds. Because it was always, you got to understand, in the 90s, it was a very, very gang-related time. So every Vadu, every gang thought they were number one. So there was a lot of gang banging going on. Your enemies, you had to fight your enemies every time. This is just how it was, right? But any time that the staff mistreated, like really started to mistreat people or do something bad, and people all took a dislike to it, you'd see some things change. You see some coming together. Either that or the cops are just going to whip everyone's ass. But I'd seen some, that's when the blacks and the south side were having conversations on the yard like, hey, this ain't cool. This fucking one cop keeps fucking with everyone, man. We're going to stand our ground. In YA. That was the only time I ever seen anyone like unity type stuff. Other than that, it was always gang banging or racial issues. Not necessarily in Nellis, really racial issues. There was one time that they, like I've told that story, man. The Southsider came up to us and was like, hey, we're about to get it cracking. But with the blacks over, it was over the TVs because they wanted to watch Soul Train on both TVs. And one thing was there's a Mexican TV in the day room and there's a common TV for everybody, but usually the brothers are going to put on what they want, right? So basically there's a black and a Mexican TV, just the way it is. The whites really didn't have no say so in YA, man. The Spencer is just the truth, right?
There wasn't a lot of them at all.
There wasn't a lot of them. They went with the flow with the Mexicans pretty much, you know what I mean? But that Mexican TV stood on Spanish all day long. No matter if anyone was watching, I don't care if nobody's watching it. That's what it stood. Only on movie night would it change to the movies. And the blacks had on Soul Train. Everybody's watching Soul Train, and everyone likes Soul Train, you know what I mean? Music and everything. So this dude had just got there. He went to go put it on the other TV, and the Southsider told him, hey, bro, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm going to put Soul Train on so everyone can watch it. He's like, nah, you don't. That's our fucking TV. You don't touch it, right? Right there, it almost cracked, like majorly, right? Over the TV. So it's little things like that, the microwave would set shit off. Everyone always argued over the microwave. Who was first in line? You had to have respect right there because, or you couldn't touch other people's shit, move their bowl or nothing. Had to set some shit off. There was a.
How did you guys? Ocelot wants to know, how did you guys react to the end of hostilities? That's that. So them letting everybody out of the shoe is something to react to. End of hostilities. I've been on yards with Northerners. It was never what the movies want you to think. It wasn't that.
It's not everyday fighting on site all day. It wasn't like that.
Even the way people want to make this whole the blacks and the Southerners constantly at war. And when was the last time you heard of a war between the Southerners and the blacks in California prison?
Besides Pelican Bay, that's the last time.
What it was? No, I think there was something after that. But what I'm saying is, you got to go back a long ways. When it happens, especially between the Southerners and the blacks, when it happens, it's huge. It's going to make world news. And then they make it a big deal. But that was a breakdown in communication on that facility. And then there was a repercussion because of it. And then when when the dust settles, everybody goes back to making their money and doing their time. It's never been the way the media wants you to think it is.
Or the movies.
It's always going to be your own people that you got to look out, watch more than anyone else. You don't got to worry about the blacks. If you're a Southerner, you got to worry. They're in their area doing their thing, dealing. You got to the people you're eating with every day. That's who you got to watch out for. Same with the Northerners, the whites, everybody.
Yeah, that's just how it was. That's just how it was in prison. We laugh all the time, man, when people are like, the end of hostilities. I never experienced any grief or anything with the Southsiders while locked up. It was always a lot of respect, man. Like I said, when I was in Susanville, man, the Southerners used to bless us. In Corcoran, they used to bless us. We were on lockdown and they were shooting sopas and we're borrowing CDs, trading CDs back and forth. And these guys, we knew, like, man, if something cracked off, they were going to fucking try to hurt you. Vice versa. It was like real shit, but still was respect, man, because the Northerners had a thing in their bond. You know, you respect anyone of a Latin descent or anyone worthy of the cause. Them dudes were definitely worthy and they were Latin. So with them, they felt the same way. It's like just a respect. You respect your enemy. You know what I mean? You want your enemy at their fighting best. They would feed us. We want them. We want you at your best, homie. You know what I mean? Hearing us work out, like, what you guys doing over there? Burpees.
Are you saying Latin?
That's it. Just it says in the bonds, anyone of a Latino.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear that part. All right.
No, I'm reading the bond. Then the bonds, it says, you know, we have to aid anyone of a Latin descent or anyone worthy of the cause. They just put the word Latin in there. It's changed over the years to raza, Mexican, but the original thing was Latin. Anyone of a Latin descent.
Thank you, Miss Manda. Bull breeder. Why didn't the leadership or the decision-making person diffuse the violence in the youth authority? What are you talking? You talking about like the inmates? There was no.
Every compa had their own spokesman.
Yeah, I was one in my compa, but I would basically, it's somebody that, okay, for Southerners in Paso and Nales, like, and the younger whites like that, everybody has their own ramfla. So the Southerners, there could be, let's say there's 15, because in Paso there was not a lot of us. So there could be 15 dudes on a compa, right? And that out of those 15 dudes, 8 kick it together and 7 kick it together. And the 7 kick and eat together and everything. They don't eat with the 8. That 8 eats with their own homies. You bust the spread together and all that. When it comes time for a riot, we all get together, handle our business, and then now out of that group of 8 or the group of 7, there might be somebody that all the other 14 people respect, and they'll ask that dude to basically have the compa. And that dude's responsibility is, when dealing with other compas, you know, maybe somebody got booted out of one compa and they land on your compa. Well, I need to go and holler at that dude, like, hey, Holmes, why did he leave your compa, Holmes? What's going on with that?
Or dealing with other races and shit. He's usually
that's basically his thing. But there's really no one individual in YA that was a shot caller. It didn't work like that.
Plus, you got to understand, bro, as young gang members, crazy fucking kids, a lot of them in there for murders, shootings, all that. Do you want to be the one responsible to calm all that down? That tension? There was tension all the time. There was motherfuckers would get off the bus. So there were certain dudes like Babyface from 18, legendary status in YA. Like dudes that would get there and people heard about him, like, motherfuckers, a maniac, crazy. Dubs met him. I don't know. I never met him. I heard of him though. But these stories like Little Man from Turlock, these stories followed these guys. sometimes they're not what everything they cracked up to be. Sometimes they are.
You guys gotta look for that video. If 818 would have probably had it. I don't think he's in here. Yeah, the babyface video. In that video, I talked about, and he's one of the ones when I said a dude from Hawaiian Gardens and a dude from 18, they went to YA when they were like 10. Babyface, I think, was 10, maybe 11 when he went to YA. But I remember when he got there, and my neighborhood, there's no 18 around us, so we didn't have pelo with. But I remember when he got to SRCC, to our compa, to our building, the whispers, Holmes. It was like Godzilla landed, Holmes. These
King Kong got
there, shook up. All I was, hey, it was fucking Babyface is here, man. Man, fucking Babyface, baby. Hey, man, this vato, this. And I was like kind of laughing, right? Like, and I remember them saying the whispers were, hey, he's in a fucking, so he wound up on B, he landed on B side. I was on A side, right? Or no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And he, as soon as he got there, he was running into cells. All of his enemigos finding out which cell, boom, boom, and the Hudas all knew him because he had been going in and out since he was a baby. So they liked the dude. He was a knucklehead, right? So I signed up for church. I said, I got to see this vato. He's got to be 15 or 16 feet tall. You know what I mean? 700 or 800 pounds. Man, I got in line. I was one of the last cells they let out, and vatos are right there. And they were like, fuck it, I know that vato's going to come out right now. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got to see this. The vato was short and skinny, homie.
Yeah.
Short and skinny. And as soon as he came out of his wing into the day room, he immediately started disrespecting his enemigos. Hey, so he would call his enemigos by the diss of their neighborhood.
Yeah, he was off the hook.
He was off the hook. Hey, when I saw this fool, hey, Vatos were like, as soon as he came out, Vatos, this is what you saw. Vatos didn't want to make eye contact. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the fuck?
There's dudes that were like that. Like, hey, they'll get to the one. I could say he's on TikTok all the time. I see him, man. I'm gonna respect who he is because he asked me to. Right? He's an active Norteño, but trip out on this. This dude gets to Carl Holton. He just came from Chad. I don't know why they said, oh, he had a drug program. That's why they sent him to Carl Holton. Now, this is a motherfucker coming from Chad where it's on site all day, every day. He's putting in the most work, right? This fool sitting in the day room. I was in Nellis with him. He was a homie in Nellis. So he's sitting in the day room. So I see him. I'm banging on the window. There's a window in the day room, right? We're in lockdown in the dorms. And I'm like, what's up, bro? And he just looks at me like this. Dubs looks back like he don't even know who I am and just looks me up and down. And he's just sitting there, right? I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Hey, I was like, Chad must have got this motherfucker crazy, right? It's the homie.
Yeah.
Shit. They sent a couple Southsiders in there to mop. This motherfucker got up, broke the mop, and started getting busy. I was like, hey, what are you doing? The Southsiders were tripping on us like, hey, man, what's your homeboy doing? We were all down, whatever. This dude didn't get a chance to even get the rundown. He was so used to fucking, just getting off on site. He didn't realize that institution wasn't on site. It was all peaceful there. We were just trying to kick it. Caused all kinds of tension. I was like, damn. But that was just the mentality. Motherfuckers there, their reputation meant a lot. They didn't get fought, right? Fighting, getting off 2, 3, 4 on 1, whatever. That just was normal. And yeah, I remember that, man. And yeah, Babyface though, even being in Norteño, that his name rang bells. Like everyone was like, hey, everyone knows that name in YA at that time. Babyface from 18.
I haven't seen that name in a long time. The Gabar Yala. I haven't seen that name in here in a long time.
Yeah, the Chariot Man. It'd be like that. Yeah, there was a very well-known crip, man, and why I ran into him. I've told the story, man. Rest in peace to Tiny Solo from A-Tray Gangsters, right? That dude right there, Michael Meadows, little Mikey, homie right there, man. Good little dude. The cops liked him too because he was a little guy, Dubs, and he looked young as fuck. Michael Meadows, a little Tiny Solo from A-Tray Gangster. He can get away with anything. The cops, he fucking beat someone up, and the cops just write the other person up. They didn't give a fuck, right? He'd be like, I don't want to go to the hole. They'd be like, all right, Mikey, go to your bunk. This fool right here, he had juice, but was a gangster, man. Any enemy that he got from 60s, he rushed him.
There was a vato from, I can't remember his name, man, in Boston. He was from Compton Barrio or 7 O's. I can't remember his name, man. He was a little dude. He had been in YA for a long time, but he was still like a little dude, right? No, check this out. This fool was on Cayuques. He had so much juice, Holmes. He had a go-kart.
He did?
Swear to God, he had a go-kart. And the senior would let him out of the yard. There was a dirt field behind. It was in between Visiting and Cayucas. And he could ride his go-kart up and down the little pathway right there.
That's a trip, huh?
I want to say his name was Pokey. But I know another Pokey from Compton.
Wasn't Little Man the Leche 7-4 of Turlocos? No, he was really a Turloco, bro. He was just a knack. No, I won't even say a knack or a J-Cat. He was just different. I
didn't like him.
Yeah, no one liked Little Man. No one forced
like
out.
him. Nobody.
He'll stab the shit out of you. He'll do all that, but he just had he went out like a motherfucker, bro.
I was in Pelican Bay shoe with that dude, and he nobody like North or South, nobody liked him.
Yeah, no one liked him. But will he fucking stab you if he got a chance? Absolutely. He was a YA baby. Like the definition of YA baby, you'll put Babyface from 18 and Little Man from Turlock right there. They're the same shit, just craziness. But Little Man just liked to run his mouth a lot. Disrespect. He was a really disrespectful person, and he ultimately got killed because of it.
Cali Muscle was never in YA, let alone Nellis. He was never.
Yeah, he's full of shit. He's full of shit. Now, Whack 100 was there. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
But Cali Muscle wasn't. Anyways, we're going to get up out of here, man. We went longer than we intended to, man. We just in here telling war stories, man. Fuck it, having a good time. Tap in later on. I don't know if we're going to go live now. We went so long, but, man, tap into our videos. Please help us out, man. Share these, like, subscribe. Also, man, we're going to be, if we do go live, we want to announce something that we figured out last night that might help people with YouTube.
Real quick, because I feel like this dude is trying to troll. Have I ever been to Pleasant Valley? No, absolutely not. The fuck is Pleasant Valley? Just the name. I think one of the trolls made up a story about me supposedly ever being in Pleasant Valley. Hey, have somebody pull my card. They pulled Wes Watson's fucking housing card. Have one of these trolls that supposedly is friends with the Huras pull my housing card. And that'll show you where the fuck I've been. Pleasant Valley.
They always ask me if I was
never
in
let me
Solano. I can't spell Solano.
The fuck? Pleasant Valley.
Guys, give us an update on Manny and the death penalty. Stop the title of this video. Yeah, we did in the beginning, Scott.
Go to the beginning of this video. This one's staying up. We didn't play no music.
Yeah, you could go back to the beginning of this video and rewatch it, bro. We did give an update, and I'm gonna keep giving more updates. Your boy, the one and only, says I didn't think so. He's solid, Dubs. Your boy, the one and only from Fresno.
No, because I know somebody had said that I went there. I've never been there.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that's one of those joints that has Valley Fever. I would have fucking tried to get off if they sent me to a joint like. But I think that's a level 2, ain't it? Level 2, level 3.
I'm not sure what they got going on in Pleasant Valley nowadays. It's all over the place all the time. All right, we're going to get up out of here, man. Thank you guys so much. Go tap into our videos. We appreciate you. And again, man, if we do go live tonight, we got an announcement to make concerning YouTube and something we think may help people that watch YouTube, man. So, all right, now we're out of here. Thank you.
All right, you guys. Thank you.